Hello, I'm Andrew Scherer, and I'm a faculty member in the Department of Anthropology. My thanks to Amanda and the Cogut staff for organizing this wonderful event and providing me with a platform to talk about my current research project. I'm an anthropological archaeologist and biological anthropologist whose research focuses on the pre-colonial Maya of Mexico and Central America. I co-direct with Charles Golden of Brandeis University an active archaeological field project along the Usumacinta River that forms the modern border between Chiapas, Mexico, and Petén, Guatemala, and we work in both countries. My laboratory research is largely oriented towards bioarchaeology, the study of human remains in archaeological contexts. In terms of field work, we conduct comparative research on three classic Maya kingdoms: Piedras Negras, Yaxchilan, and Tzatzi, which means white dog in classic Mayan. These kingdoms date to roughly AD 350 to 800, and the broader goal of our investigations is to understand how these three indigenous kingdoms thrived for roughly 4 centuries, only to be largely abandoned in the 9th century. The focus of my fellowship project at the Cogut relates to the practice of violence among the pre-colonial Maya. The genesis of this project was twofold. In part, it stems from 2 decades of field survey that my colleagues and I have conducted in the jungles of Mexico and Guatemala, where we have systematically documented the defensive fortifications of the 3 kingdoms I mentioned. My bioarchaeological research also informs this project. Over the years, I've documented numerous cases of interpersonal violence, some of which likely stem from warfare and others from ritual contexts that are typically glossed as sacrifice. While my book project is in part a synthesis of the evidence of war and other forms of violence among the Maya, it more broadly grapples with the moral frameworks within which the violence was conducted. Morality is not a topic that archaeologists normally engage, in part because it is difficult to reconstruct in the deep past, as it is a nebulous subject in the present. However, ignoring the question of morality has led to problematic characterizations of violence in past societies. Thus, a basic challenge undergirds my work: how to appropriately present the evidence for violence in the past without further fueling distorted understandings of past societies like the pre-colonial Maya. Critical to this project is understanding how Maya interbeing relations, and especially obligations to their gods and ancestors, shaped the conduct of violence. It was godly sacrifice that created the sun and brought about the orderliness of the mundane world that humans inhabit, forever binding humans and gods by what ethnographer John Monahan frames as a covenant, one of mutual sustenance. There is an ontological dimension to pre-colonial Maya violence, in that violence was fundamentally associated with others: animals, gods, and foreigners. In a sense, violence made one non-human. Thus, Maya warriors adopted the guise of animals when they went to war, a practice seen as analogous to the hunt, that is, animals hunting other animals. And when it came to the administration of justice through violence, Maya lords and ladies became gods in what is often characterized as impersonation, but is better understood by what my colleague Stephen Houston calls co-occurrence, donning masks and other regalia to embody these other side timeless beings in the mundane world of the presence. This is referenced in the working title of my book, By the Hand of God: Violence and the Morality of Killing in Ancient Maya Society. The title acknowledges that on the eve of the conquest, the Maya recognized that killing was done at the behest of the gods. For example, the Great Motul Dictionary of Yucatec Maya, a 16th century document that's housed here at the John Carter Brown Library, names the knives to kill others as ukab ku, the hand or arm of God. Equally, among the conquest era Quiche Maya of the Guatemalan highlands, their knives were named ukab tohil, the hand or arm of Tohil, their patron deity whose very name is synonymous with justice and vengeance. While calling attention to practices such as godly co-occurrence or going to war as animals risks further exoticizing the pre-colonial Maya, my goal in this work is to show that these practices, for better or for worse, can be found across human societies. Because of the fundamental inhumanity of killing, agents of death often share or disperse the culpability of that violence onto beings other than themselves, just as they actively dehumanize the victims of violence. Thank you for listening.